Hi everyone, welcome back to the Art of Clarity. I'm Jennifer Tarl, and today we are going to be learning symbols. How do you pronounce and what is the vocabulary to describe all of the little symbols on the keyboard and that we see every day? So we are going to start today with brackets and groupings. So we have parentheses, round brackets, square brackets, curly brackets, angle brackets, or chevrons. All right, number one, we have parentheses. Parentheses. So parentheses are the little round brackets like this. And we are going to think about syllable stress for this. Parentheses. So we are going to stress syllable number 2. Also, that S on the end really confuses some people. We are going to pronounce that with a Z sound. Parentheses. 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 Parentheses, parentheses. Put it in parentheses like this. Put it in parentheses like this. I have to say, I really love my example because this is working on another strategy called chunking. And I'm saying groups of words together in phrases. Put it in parentheses like this. That is giving me a really natural rhythm. It allows me to stress one word in each of those phrases and to reduce the others. So we're going to put it in parentheses like this. Parentheses. Next, we have square brackets. For this, please pay attention. We have that SKW combination. So many of my students miss a letter on this. So we are going to do schwa, schwa, schwa. And because we have a phrasal word here, a compound noun, those two words must go together. The rule is with a compound noun, we are always going to stress word 1 more than word 2. We're going to really connect those together. So that is our phrasal level stress. And then we still have our syllable stress in the word. And so we are going to stress bra in brackets. Okay, so we have two kinds of stress that you need to think about. You are going to think about the syllable stress. So our syllable in word 2 that is stressed is the brackets. But then we say square brackets. We are going to make sure that we stress syllable number 1, square brackets. All right, let's give this a try. Square brackets, square brackets, square brackets. The editor added a note like this in square brackets. The editor added a note like this in square brackets. All right. So now we are going to be moving on to curly brackets or braces. Curly brackets or braces. All right, let's start with braces here. So 2 syllables, stress syllable number 1. Braces. Braces, 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 braces. Stress syllable 1, bray, and don't forget the Z in syllable number 2, braces. For curly brackets, we have a great stress pattern here. Stress, unstress, stress, unstress. Curly brackets, curly brackets. So we have curl, and you want to make sure for that square tense lips, and your tongue does not touch the teeth, the tip of the tongue. Also, think about making that R really long and really strong. That helps a lot of my students because R in American English tends to be longer and smoother than I hear from people who speak different languages from India. They tend to use more of a flap R. I also hear that flap R from many of my students in Japan as well. And then there's some confusion with many other language backgrounds for the R. So long and strong for that We have another R in brack. So again, long and strong. And then for that L, touch the tip of the tongue to the back of the top front teeth for that L. Curly brackets, curly brackets, curly brackets. Okay, let's give these all a try one more time. Curly brackets, curly brackets, curly brackets, or braces, braces, braces. So we use curly brackets in math and braces in code. You can use those words interchangeably. I was just using that as an example. All right, moving on, we have angle brackets or chevrons. So we have that same stress pattern again, angle brackets. So high, low, long, short, angle brackets. And then we are going to stress syllable number 1 in chevrons, 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 chevrons. Yes, and in that Z sound, we typically say a Z sound when we have the plural and the root word ends with an N sound. Okay, so let's try angle brackets, angle brackets, angle brackets, angle brackets, angle brackets. Just as a reminder, angle is getting more of the stress here with angle brackets. And then we have chevrons. Yes, an SH sound, even though it's spelled with a CH. Chevrons, chevrons, chevrons. So in HTML, we use angle brackets for the title and chevron brackets for the page title. All right. Okay, how's everybody doing? We have a lot of symbols there that we just learned. So let's go back to the beginning and practice one more time before we move on. Parentheses, round brackets, square brackets, curly brackets, angle brackets, chevrons. All right, next group. We have some writing and quotations here. So we have quotation marks, apostrophe, hyphen, N dash, M dash, and ellipses. I have to say, I did not know N dash and M dash. I just called everything a dash. So I even learned something when I was making this presentation. And so you can call them just a dash, but there is a difference. And we're going to talk about that in just a minute. Okay, starting with quotation marks. Quotation marks are these little like symbols that you put on your writing. And I'm showing you what I'm doing with my fingers because people will do this when they are talking in the US. They will give you like a quote, an air quote. So that's what that is, just so you know that gesture that people are using. Okay, so for quotation marks, we have a shun word here. And if you watch my lessons and listen to them, you know that when we have a shun ending, T-I-O-N, we are going to always stress the syllable right before the shun. And in this case, we are stressing the syllable, excuse me. Also, we have the QU, and QU most of the time is pronounced as KW. So, qua. So we have quotation and then marks. For marks, make sure you move your mouth because that vowel and the R are combining into a new movement R vowel, the R sound. Okay, so we have quotation marks, quotation marks, quotation marks, quotation marks, quotation marks. And now for a sentence. In quotation marks, we see, she said, hello. All right, moving on to the apostrophe. And the apostrophe shows possession in written American English. We are showing possession. So this is my class, Jennifer's class. We've got a few schwas in here. This is great to practice the reductions. So we have schwa, pa, schwa, and phi. Apostrophe, apostrophe. We are stressing syllable number 2, the pa. Unstressed, reduced, super short, quick, and syllable 3 as well has the stra. And then we have secondary stress on that phi. Apostrophe, 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 apostrophe. An apostrophe shows possession in written English. And I am using that for Jennifer's classes. Moving on, we have a hyphen. And the hyphen here is being used to show a compound word. I get very confused by this, to be honest, when we use a hyphen versus when we just combine the words. Some words you can spell either way. Typically, spell check helps me out, or I use ChatGPT or Google or something, or Gemini, to figure out which words need that and which do not. But to pronounce this word, we are going to say hi, like hello, and then fun, like I am having the best time. So hyphen, 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 hyphen. Stressing syllable number 1, the hi, unstressing number 2, the fun, hyphen. And here is our example. We have a hyphen in a well-known fact. A well-known fact. All right, next we have the N dash and the M dash. And they are just, oh, I see at the top there, I have a mistake. So ignore that. Look at the bottom. The M dash is longer. Think of it as a major, like the letter M, major pause. An N dash, think of it for numbers and ranges and connections. Okay, so like your network, we're going to have all of those connections, that N, that go together. Okay, what we have in common here is we are going to be stressing word 1, N or M. What's the difference? Some of my students struggle with this. The M, the letter M as in Mary or me, I am going to make that with lips that are pressed together. Air moves out of my nose. For the N, my mouth is going to be open for that sound. The tip of my tongue is touching the spot where my teeth and skin meet on the roof of my mouth. Air is moving out of my nose. Another tip, N in English connects to the vowel. And also, the N in English will be longer than many of my students from many different language backgrounds make that sound. So keep that in mind. Make it a little bit longer if you need to. So we have N and M, N, M. And then we're going to add dash and just end with that SH. Dash is unstressed. Okay, we have N dash, N dash, N dash, M dash, M dash, M dash. And again, we see an M dash when we have a major pause and an N dash with numbers, ranges, and connections. Okay, I'm going to own this. An ellipsis. I overuse this. I would get in trouble all the time in my high school English classes for overusing this. I just like it. I like the way it looks. There are rules behind it. You can check that out. But for pronunciation, we are going to say I or I tend to say an We talk about this a lot. A schwa in English can vary. Most of the time it's an regionally, and depending on the word, people will say I or All is fine as long as it is sort of unstressed. So we have ellipsis, 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 ellipsis. We also have some assimilation going on here. So I think that's why most people probably say that short I, because then we have the I in lip and the I in sis. So we have ellipsis, 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 ellipsis. Wait. Then you're going to add your ellipsis. What happened? Wait. What happened? So that's just an example of an ellipsis. All right. So let's go back. Let me back it up here and we will practice all of those one more time. Quotation marks, apostrophe, hyphen, N dash, M dash, ellipsis. All right. Now we are moving on to some miscellaneous and special characters. And we have degree, registered trademark, section sign, trademark, Pillcrow. I didn't know this one. Paragraph mark, check mark, copyright, and currency sign. Okay, did you know all of those? I did not. So I'm learning something new with this series as well. Okay, let's start off with degree, degree, degree. So we have a schwa here on syllable number 1. That is our unstressed syllable. And then we are going to stress syllable number 2, the degree, 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 degree. So we see this with a 90-degree angle. And we will also use this with temperatures, with both Celsius and Fahrenheit. Okay, let's give it a practice. Degree, 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 degree. We also use the same pronunciation in this word degree when we are talking about like your certificate that you get for completion of your program in college. So same pronunciation there in case you were interested. Okay, now we have the section sign, and that is pronounced section sign, section sign, section sign, section sign, section sign. We are stressing syllable number 1, sec. Syllable number 2 has a schwa, short, quick, reduced. And then we have secondary stress on sign with that long I. Section sign, section sign, section sign. Okay, now we have Pillcrow. I have never heard this called a Pillcrow. I just always hear it referred to as a paragraph mark. So choose which one you want, but just know, I don't think many people in America know what a Pillcrow is. Maybe like English majors, people who are editors for a living. So that's kind of an unusual word. All right. So for Pillcrow, we are going to stress syllable number 1, pill, and then end with crow. Pillcrow, 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 Pillcrow. And then for paragraph mark, love this one. We got a lot going on here. 4 syllables. We are going to have the main stress on pair. Move your mouth for that air vowel. Air, pair. Schwa sound, love it. Graph, and then mark. Paragraph, paragraph, paragraph. Paragraph mark, paragraph mark, paragraph mark. So you can see when I am saying paragraph, it sounds slightly different rhythm-wise than when I say paragraph mark. And the reason is that every time we add a syllable to a word in English, every syllable must get shorter to follow our stress timing rules. So we must shrink some syllables and make some shorter to make the rhythm sound correct. So let's try these again. Pillcrow, Pillcrow, Pillcrow. Paragraph mark, paragraph mark, paragraph mark. And a paragraph mark or a Pillcrow show a new paragraph should be starting. Okay, we have the copyright symbol. Copyright, copyright, copyright. So we are going to stress caw. This has that open ah sound in English. That's the short O sound. Open your mouth in a wide oval. Tip of the tongue goes really low for that back of the tongue is pulled high up. Copy, long E, right. Copyright, copyright, copyright. So we are stressing copyright, copyright, copyright. And then our other syllables are getting less stress. Our secondary stress, the second most stressed syllable is going to be the right syllable. Copyright, copyright, copyright. And the copyright symbol looks like the letter C in a circle. Okay, now we have registered trademark or trademark. So for these, what we have in common here is we have trademark, which will be the same in both. So for trademark, we are going to make sure that we stress syllable number 1, make that nice and long, that vowel, that long A, trademark. And then we're going to end in mark. That is going to have less stress. We are going to have that R vowel and then end with the K. All right. Trademark, trademark, trademark. Now for registered, we are going to stress syllable number 1, reg. And it is a J sound there. Ja, ja, ja. Touch the tip of the tongue to the back of the top front teeth for that sound. Reg. Schwa for the middle syllable. Stirred. Stirred. Kind of like you're stirring something in the past. So registered, trademark. Registered trademark. Registered trademark. Registered trademark. We have stress on reg and on trade, but the main amount of stress is going to be on registered. So the stress syllable in registered is going to have the most stress in this word. So we have registered trademark and trademark. And this shows a brand or a logo. All right, we are moving right along and we have a check mark. And a check mark can be used to say, I have completed a task. For check, what you are going to do is make sure that you touch the tip of your tongue to the back of your top front teeth to start that. It's in the same place where you'd make a T sound. So we start for that T and then we just pull the tongue back. Check, check, check. And then mark. We just did this word. Don't forget to move for that R. End with the K. Stress syllable number 1, check. Check mark, check mark, check mark, check mark, check mark, check mark. And again, a check mark shows that we have completed a task. All right, we are getting there, everybody. Let's see. Now we are on currency sign. So currency sign, this is this little symbol here. I did not know this was even a symbol for currency sign. So we are going to pronounce this currency, currency. I am stressing syllable number 1, cur, cur, completely reducing, unstressing my schwa syllable. And then I have a little bit of stress on C. Currency, currency. And then I'm going to end with sign. Again, don't forget that N, make it a little bit longer. Currency sign, currency sign, currency sign, currency sign. I'm curious, did you know the currency sign? Because I did not know the currency sign symbol. Okay, so that is the last word in our miscellaneous and special category section. We have degree, registered trademark, section sign, trademark, Pillcrow or paragraph mark, check mark, copyright, and currency sign. Okay. We have one more section to go, and we are going to be talking about computer and coding symbols. Here's a quick preview. The @ sign, the hash, pound or hashtag, $sign, underscore, tilde, vertical bar or pipe, backslash, slash and forward slash, colon, semicolon, period or dot, comma, exclamation mark or exclamation point, question mark, ampersand, asterisk. Okay, let's start with the @ sign. Most of you know this because we use this often in our emails to pronounce how to send us an email. So my email would be Jennifer @ and then you give Hotmail or Gmail or wherever the mail server is. And so that is the @ sign. So we're going to pronounce that at, open in a wide circle for that a, and then end with the T, at. This is our stress syllable, so loud, long, and high in pitch. And then we're going to add sign. That's going to be less stressed, and that's going to be a reduced syllable. At sign, at sign, at sign. We use an at sign to give our email address. Next, you have 3 choices for this. We have a hash, a pound sign, or a hashtag. So just a quick tip. Oftentimes when you are on the phone and someone might say, followed by the pound sign, that is the little hashtag on your phone keypad, on the number pad. But we also will say hashtag when we are talking about tagging something, perhaps on like X or Twitter, and then people will use a hashtag to tag that so people can find it later. Okay, let's start with hash and hashtag. So for hash, wide open, and then end with that sh. We do have a very quiet H on there. H in English is made with less friction than many other languages. If you use an H that has a little more friction, don't worry about it. But if you're curious why you're sounding different than many American speakers, it's because we have almost no friction on that H sound. So we have hash, hash, hash. If you were going to say hashtag, stress syllable number one, hash, unstressed tag. Hashtag, hashtag, hashtag. Now for pound, open wide for that ow vowel, and then move to puckered lips. Pound, pound, pound. So we have hash, pound, and hashtag. So we use the pound sign on a phone and hashtag for social media. All right, we have the dollar sign, dollar sign, dollar sign. So we have the all here. And for that, you're going to open your mouth wide in an oval shape. Tip of the tongue is low, back of the tongue is pulled high up. Dollar. Move that L from the vowel, hold it there, keep the air moving out, and then move into the So it's going to be aller, smoother, longer, really stretched out. Dollar, 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 dollar. Dollar sign, dollar sign, dollar sign. We're stressing syllable number one there, dollar, dollar sign. And my little example here is $20, and I have the dollar sign. Next, we have underscore, and we hear this a lot when people are giving directions for certain things on the computer or email addresses. We'll hear this a lot. We have an underscore. So we are going to stress the short U here. Underscore, 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 underscore. Stress syllable number one, and then secondary stress on syllable number three. Underscore, 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 underscore. The file name is file underscore name dot txt underscore. All right, you have two options for this. I say a tilde. Some people say a tilde. For both of these, we are going to stress syllable number one. This is a great symbol to know. We'll see this oftentimes in a newspaper article, and that tilde sign means about or approximately. So you'll see that often. So stress syllable number one, till, till, till. And then you end with day, like day of the week, or duh with the schwa. So we have tilde, 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 or tilde, 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 or tilde. So you can see we use the tilde sign here to say about 10 people arrived. Next, we have a backslash, and the backslash is used often in code. So stress syllable number one, back, unstress, slash. Backslash, 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 backslash. And for both of these, you are going to have that open wide circle mouth for backslash, 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 backslash. So this is C colon backslash users backslash. We also have the opposite of this, just a slash or a forward slash. Most of the time I hear forward slash just for clarity purposes. So we already know slash, open in that wide circle mouth for that tip of the tongue is low, back of the tongue is pulled high up. For forward, we have or in syllable number 1, for, and then for word, even though it's spelled with that OR, we are just going to say an because it is unstressed and reduced. Forward, 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 forward slash, forward slash, forward slash, forward slash. And we use forward slash with https://example.com. Okay, moving on to colon. And a colon is the 2 little dots, and you'll see this with time. So we are going to say colon. Round your lips for that O in colon. And then here's another tip. Connect the O to the L. Olin. So it's almost like you're saying the L twice. You're really not. It's just you got to keep that air going. Colon. 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 I am ending that word in a schwa, and I am saying an Sometimes I actually do say an in this. I'm not quite sure why I do that differently, but I do. So we just want to make sure that that second vowel is not another O. It is an colon, 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 colon. And we use a colon for time to show 8:30. Semicolon. Okay, so you can say semicolon, semicolon, or semicolon. I hear all of them. I'm going to teach you today a semicolon, 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 semicolon. The key here is stress syllable number 1. Sem, sem, sem. Semicolon, semicolon, semicolon. Or semicolon, semicolon, semicolon. Or semicolon, semicolon, semicolon. So many options. You do you, and you pick whichever one works for you. Okay, next we have a period, which we tend to use at the end of a sentence, and we call it a dot when we are giving a web address or something more that is like computer related. So if you want to say period, this is really confusing for a lot of my students. We're going to start with ear vowel. Peer, like I'm looking at you. Peary. I'm going to go from that ear right into my re. So it sometimes sounds like there's 2 R's there. It's not. It's just everything's connected. Period. I'm going to end with the schwa, an or an I, whichever works for you. Period. 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 And dot is somewhat easy. Just make sure you don't say dot with too closed of a mouth. You have to open your mouth a little bit for the dot, dot, dot. So we have period at the end of a sentence and dot as part of a file name. Next up, we have a comma. And a comma shows a grouping that we're going to continue. There's a little pause. We're going to keep going. So we have apples, bananas, and grapes, and those are separated with a comma. So for this, open wide for that ah and ka, comma. Schwa in syllable number 2. Comma, 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 comma. And again, we see a comma, apples, comma, bananas, comma, and grapes in a list in a sentence. I love an exclamation mark. I do. I overuse them. You know this if you get my emails. I just love it because I'm excited about life. So to say exclamation mark, we have lots of syllables. Exclamation, because we have the shun, we got to stress right before the shun. Exclamation. We also have to say a KS for syllable number 1, X. X, 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 cla, we have the schwa, may, and then schwa again in shun. Exclamation, 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 exclamation. Now, technically, this is called an exclamation mark. However, I think people in my generation, at least I do, I call this an exclamation point. And you will hear that as well. But for today's purposes, let's just talk about this as a mark. And we have exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark. And this will show excitement. And we see the exclamation mark after the word wow to show that we are surprised or excited about something. All right, now we have question. Let's just review the pattern here. We have the shun here. And actually, we changed this a little bit, even though we're going to follow the stress pattern that we stress right before the shun. But for question, we actually say a CH sound, not the SH. So we're going to start with quest. And for quest, you want to say that KW, stress it. Question, 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 question. And then end with mark, mark, question mark, question mark, question mark. And we use a question mark to show that we have asked a question. How are you? So that is a question mark. Okay, moving on to vertical bar or pipe. We see this in titles a lot of times. You can also use this in math and in coding. So let's start with the vertical. Now, technically, this is a flap T in the syllable number 2. However, I just spell it with my phonetic spelling as a D because the flap T is like a fast D sound. So we are going to stress syllable number 1. We are going to have that flap T in syllable number 2. And we're going to say der. Vertical. Okay. For vertical bar, this is that symbol that is just the up and down line. We also hear this referred to as a pipe. And I see this a lot in titles on YouTube. It looks pretty, but you can also use it in math and in coding. So we are going to stress syllable number 1 in ver, and then we have a schwa, da, kul, bar. So we have vertical bar, vertical bar, vertical bar, vertical bar, vertical bar, vertical bar, or pipe. And to do that, we're just going to move our mouth for that I in pipe. So we see a vertical bar, or a pipe in a lot of YouTube channels. Next, we have an ampersand. That is the little and symbol. I love an ampersand, and in my business name, it is actually Tarl Speech Ampersand Language. And most of the time when we're reading, we just say and for that, but we will say ampersand if we are giving someone a direction to use that symbol instead of writing out the word and. So we have ampersand, 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 ampersand. Open a and am, open in a wide circle, and we have that sound again in sand. Ampersand, 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 ampersand. And so we use the ampersand usually in titles like in rock and roll. Or if you were getting fancy and you want to use a good reduction here, we would say rock and roll, rock and roll, rock and roll. So that is the ampersand. Okay, last one in this section. I struggle with saying this word. It is asterisk, 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 asterisk. I have to say, most of the time, I drop the K at the end of this word and say asterisk. So I was listening to other people. I do hear people say the K, but a lot of times I hear people drop that K. So technically, we are saying asterisk, 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 asterisk. But when I'm having a general conversation, I usually say asterisk and just drop the K. So listen to your peers, see what everyone is saying, and kind of go with that. And we use an asterisk to show a footnote. All right, so let's go back. I'm going to rewind my slides here and let's practice. So we have the @ sign, the hash, pound or hashtag, $, underscore, tilde or tilde, vertical bar or pipe, backslash, slash or forward slash, colon, semicolon, period or dot, comma, exclamation mark or exclamation point, question mark, ampersand, and asterisk. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you enjoyed the lesson. You can check out my YouTube channel and you can listen to this wherever you listen to your podcast. Just search for Tarl Speech, The Art of Clarity, and join me again next week for another episode helping you improve your confidence and your clarity in speaking. Thanks so much, everyone. Have an amazing day.